up of Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but now we're seeing a fallout between Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson. Now, what's causing this? It's this dumb, stupid war that Israel is engaging with Iran, okay? Now, I can't predict the future, but the more this war escalates, I think we're going to get dragged into it. And Trump, you might have forgotten this, and it's quite clear to me that the system still keeps pushing forward with unending war, but you did run on a no war policy. You might have forgot that, but then again, hey, politicians like to lie. Now, the thing is, I have to say this. I was concerned, or is it at raising an eyebrow, if Tucker Carlson would have been part of the Trump administration, which I would have to say would be the dumbest thing he would do ever, because you have more power on the outside than on the inside. And it's quite clear that Trump doesn't like criticism, because he never does, because that's who he is. Decided to take some swipes at Tucker Carlson. So I want to pull up this article here from The Hill. Let's go ahead. Oops, that's not the correct one. That's not the correct one. I'll have to edit that out. This one right here. Haha. See, I'm only human, folks. Only human. President Trump on Monday took a swipe at former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, who has in recent days been critical of Trump's handling of the burgeoning conflict between Israel and Iran. I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him get a television network and say it so that people listen, Trump told reporters when asked about Carlson's comments during a meeting with the British Prime Minister at a Group 7 summit meeting. To which I will have to say right here, he did have a TV show. It was on Fox News. It was a very popular news program. And then Fox News, in its most ignorant decision, decided to let Tucker Carlson go. And now Tucker Carlson was able to do his show however which way he wanted, because he didn't have to worry about advertisers. He didn't have to worry about people breathing down his neck. And he had a wide range of guests on his show. And when Tucker Carlson left to do his show to be exclusively on X, well, guess what? He had even a larger following, and he still does. In fact, he's doing better than he did on TV. So Trump, doing that kind of shows a little bit weakness and pettiness on his part, but okay. It is what it is. It is what it is. So Carlson has been an outspoken critic of any U.S. involvement in a potential war in the Middle East, and he voiced frustrations after Israel last week launched missile strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities and killed multiple top Iranian officials. Carlson wrote that Trump was complicit in the act of war and said what occurs next in the region will define Trump's presidency. Dare I say it? Trump, this could end your presidency. In a post on the social platform X last week, Carlson called warmongers who he said were calling on Trump to demand direct U.S. military involvement in a war with Iran. He specifically cited former Fox News colleagues Sean Hannity and Mark Levine, among others. Because, hey, Sean Hannity, Mark, why don't you boot up and suit up and jump to Iran? Why don't you go there instead? Why don't you go there instead? Carlson, who left Fox News in 2022, has been a longtime media ally of the president. Carlson spoke at the Republican National Convention last summer and hosted Trump as part of a speaking tour during the 2024 campaign. Well, hey, all honeymoons must end. I know.
Carlson criticizing you, saying that you're complicit in the war.
I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen.
And quickly, have you spoken with Zelensky before your bylaws?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Japan?
A lot of them. Could happen.
Could happen?
Well,
Carlson criticizing.
Also here, let's actually talk about the criticism, because here he was speaking about this war and, more importantly, what's happening. Because if we get dragged into this conflict, if the United States does get dragged into this conflict, not only will it cost us more money, but it will be the cost of countless lives. And we are tiptoeing on the line of unending destruction in which the world will be engulfed by weapons of mass destruction, all the missiles firing at each other's cities. Because here's the thing, if the U.S. is involved, what's stopping another global superpower from being involved? What's stopping this crisis from getting out of control? I mean, already the Middle East is on fire with Yemen, Syria, Lebanon. You have the genocide in Gaza, which is what it is. But hey, at least finally AOC is talking about it. I want to pull up this video here again, everyone. I want to play in its full entirety.
It's not like, when things happen in Sweden or the UK, where my ancestors are from, people aren't quite as emotional. It's very emotional.
So I don't want anything to do with it at all. I don't want to criticize Bibi. I don't want to talk about Gaza. Look, I feel completely backed into a corner here where it's like we are on the cusp of entering a war on behalf of a political leader in a faraway country that's.
You shouldn't be feeling backed into a corner. You have power and influence, okay? So here, everybody, here. I'm going to share this for another segment for our show, but I want to pull out just how consistent Hardlands media is because I believe in this, okay? But this is going to be for another segment, but I'm not going to be backed into a corner. Representative Thomas Massie said this is not our war. But if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. I'm introducing a bipartisan war powers resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all members of Congress to co-sponsor this resolution. To which we wrote here, good. No war on Iran. So, what is Hardlands Media's opinion on the war? What is our consistent opinion? In 3, 2, 1, I don't want war with Iran. I don't want us to be dragged into this conflict. In fact, I want all these wars to end. Because if these wars continue on, it's the end of us. It's unending, it's stupid, it's wasteful, and it needs to stop now.
It's going to really hurt my country. I've got 4 kids. I want to have grandkids. Like, are you even joking? Stop. And I tried to be like quiet about it. I don't want to get involved in any of this because, again, people are so emotional. How could you? I mean, you should see my text this morning. I got threatened by someone this morning, actually. Who I like.
Threatened as by a friend, a colleague, or somebody that just came and said, it's too much?
It's very careless what you said. It's very careless. Careless? I was like, hey, asshole, I know what you're saying. I got it. Very careless. Anyway, whatever. I'm not whining.
Here's the thing. Doing independent media, occasionally you do run into people that'll try and tell you, oh, you shouldn't interview this person, or you shouldn't speak to this person. Or maybe if we run your show this way, or maybe we do this way, or maybe if you listen to us, we could do it better. Hardlands Media has been around for 8 years, and in some form or another, we've had an iteration of that kind of conversation. Oh, you shouldn't be speaking to these people. Oh, that's not a good take. Oh, none. This activist group won't work with you. This activist group doesn't want to speak to you. You know, and I've also heard from other people, from larger channels, people being threatened. You know, I mean, it happens. It happens. And what I don't like is that, okay, you voice your opinion against the war. I remember what happened to a lot of people who voiced their opinion against the war in Iraq. Now, this was the height after 9/11. So many people were gung-ho and angry. So many people thought that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Oh, how'd that turn out? Turns out the people who were voicing their criticism against the war in Iraq were correct. Correct. I'm sorry. They were correct. Correct. And now we got so many people who are speaking out against this war in Iran. And dare I say it, it was war in Ukraine. Oh, how dare you? You should be careful. What do you mean be careful? There's the First freaking Amendment.
I'm not AOC. Oh, I'm under such threat. I'm not under threat. But what I'm saying is I don't want to be involved in this at all. And I think most Americans don't. And it's only because
we're inexorably getting drawn into a war.
By a tiny minority of people. Like, I know a million people who are pro-Israel and Jewish, or pro-Israel and not Jewish, like me. I've always been pro-Israel, who are like, I don't think this is good. It doesn't, like, why do we allow 3% of the participants in this conversation to, like, define the terms? You know, if you are okay with any Iranian enrichment at all, you're for the Ayatollahs and you're against Israel. What? Shut up. No, I'm not going to allow you to define the terms. You're a total liar. I mean, these are liars. Like, for real, will say anything. I'm working for Qatar. Trump was actually pretending to go through a peace process. And
no, that thing was terrible.
And Steve Witkoff, who I know very well, who's one of the most pure-hearted people, whether you agree with them or not. If you're calling into question Steve Witkoff's motives, like, Witkoff doesn't need any of this. He's just doing it because he wants to help. That's it. That's the only. He's paying for it himself. And if you're telling me that Steve Witkoff is working for Qatar, that's what set me over the edge, because I know Witkoff well, and I really love Steve Witkoff, and I think I don't agree with him on everything, but I think he's like a decent man who wants what's best for Donald Trump, his best friend, and the United States. And that's enough for me. Like, I see his motive as pure. It is pure. I know him well. And when they're calling him an anti-Semite, it's like so nuts. That's when I was like, I can't believe I have to get involved in this. But
well, you have to get involved. And I want to acknowledge somebody in the chat here. We had one of our viewers, the Jack Acid, who wrote, it's nice to see the far left and far right coming together on something. Yeah, and I would encourage everyone across the political spectrum, on the left and the right, for a minute here, hey, go ahead and clip this. This is a message to the left and the right. Hey, everybody, time out for a second. So look, I know that people on the left and people on the right, rah, we hate each other. Well, whatever, who cares, all right? Listen, we get dragged into this war, it's going to destroy us. It's going to severely impact this country, and I don't think we could survive it. And the only way out of it is doing consistent organizing. Dare I say it? Yes, joint protests being against the war, not being funded by some Walton heiress. But I'm actually saying real joint community meetings, speaking out, writing to our congressmen and women, and dare I say it, yes, even reaching out to Thomas Massie and encouraging every single member of the House of Representatives to be against this war in Iran and to be part of this resolution calling for no war. We have to do this now. Now, I don't see President Trump doing anything to stop this, and it's up to us. And that means we have to put aside our differences. We could go back to hating each other tomorrow, but for this one time, we have to look past it, because if we get dragged into this, it will severely damage our economy, it will damage our society, and dare I say, it could put humanity close to extinction. Because if there's one global superpower being dragged in, there is a risk of a possible other global superpower being dragged in, be it Russia, China, or why not both? So when you have President Trump saying this to Tucker Carlson, I mean, it shows just how petty he is and how he views his allies. So long as you follow orders, and look, Trump is transparent. He's the most transparent president we've ever had. Look at how he reacted to Elon Musk, and look how he's reacting to Tucker Carlson. Oh, he doesn't like that criticism. He doesn't like maybe having his feet held to the fire. The Don doesn't like that. Well, too bad, Donnie. People have opinions and perspectives, and sometimes you got to be told, hey, man, you're effing up, and you could really screw us over, and this war can screw over the American people, your presidency, and everything else in between. This isn't open for discussion. It is a real solid thing that can happen. I want to pull up this video here as well. I'll just share it with all the people in motion.
I actually really love Trump. I think he's a deeply humane, kind person.
When you say you love Trump, it's just like, come on, please, everybody, stop. Don't tell me you love Trump, okay? Because then it goes down to all these politicians. You know what? I don't love a politician. Don't care for a politician. Don't do that. As a favor for me, don't do it. Don't do it, because it makes it makes you look like a cuck. Oh, I love my politicians because they love me. Here, hold on. I want to share this with you guys, okay? Because this image has been going over social media, and I don't know how true it is, but look. Trump Mobile. What is this? We tweeted this out. What is this? And this goes out to everyone on the political spectrum. Never have a politician's name on your phone. These politicians are owned by corporations. Don't have your phones marked by any Democrat or Republican politician. You are better than that. Be better. Be best. Be best. Be best.
And I am saying this because I'm really afraid that my country's going to be further weakened by this. I think we're going to see the end of American empire. Obviously, other nations would like to see that, and this is a perfect way to scuttle the USS America on the shoals of Iran. But it's also going to end, I believe, Trump's presidency and effectively end it. And so that's why I'm saying this.
What do you mean by that? That's coming from you.
Look, I knew Bush. I knew George W. Bush. We had, family connections to Bush. I knew Bush personally. I still see Bush sometimes. And
he still sees Bush. All right, that wasn't funny. Hey, got to add in some humor. The world's going to end up in atomic fire. Might as well have a laugh at the end.
of course, he hates me, and he does because I criticized him on Iraq. And that war is the sum total, from a historical perspective, of his administration. But I knew him, and he had all kinds of plans for the things that he wanted to do. But once domestically
Right.
to improve the country.
Right.
And you may agree or disagree, but like in his mind, he wasn't just about the invasion of Iraq in March of 2000.
No. He was going to redo Social Security. He had all
100%.
types of. He was going to take care of the entitlements issue.
And he really thought it was going to work.
Yep.
And you could laugh at that or whatever, but the point is, the second you get enmeshed in a real war, not a fake, let's go bomb the villagers and declare success, though we don't even have a good track record. Like, why are the Houthis still there?
No,
I mean, there's a whole other question,
right.
which is how prepared is the U.S. military for a real conflict? And the answer is totally unprepared. Scary unprepared. I don't think people understand that. But anyway, the only reason I'm saying any of this is because I really, really care.
Yeah, really, really care. But see, the thing is, even then, you got people like this. Laura Loomer, who says Donald Trump is officially done with Tucker Carlson. Don't take money from, Jesus Christ, lady, Arabs and become blinded by irrational hatred for Jews in Israel like Tucker did. Jesus Christ, Laura, take it easy. Tucker's whole reputation just imploded because he decided to sell out to shady Arabs who bought his mouth. Somebody please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Oh my God, Trump. And here's something from Blake. It says, what really happened is that you guys all pretended to be anti-war and it was always a fraud. So you guys are mad he stuck to the script because none of you meant America first. All right. Now, RBN's talked about this. Do Dissidents talked about this. We've kind of spoke about this a little bit, but is this the MAGA civil? Is this the opening shot? Listen, MAGA, this might be the first time for you, but I've seen this for the past 8 years in which the left has been constantly cannibalizing itself, okay? Especially in the aftermath of the Bernie Sanders campaign. Donald Trump, if he leads us to this war, if he leads us into this madness, if he leads us into unending conflict, it's going to cost us. And it's going to cost Trump his presidency. It's going to be a damning point to his entire administration. Because then we'll be in it. U.S. forces will be on the ground. Infantry, tanks, airplanes flying up high in the sky. And, because we rely on oil, gas prices are going to go up. Everything's going to go up. We thought the inflation was bad under Biden. It will be devastating if we have a war with Iran. It's going to make the Biden years look like a cakewalk, and that's not saying much because the Biden years were rough on a lot of people. See, there's a price to war, and you want to know who suffers? It's the innocent. So if Tucker Carlson's saying, hey, Donald Trump, don't do it, I would maybe listen to Tucker Carlson. I would also listen to the countless other anti-war voices out there, and this is bigger than just Tucker Carlson and Trump having their back and forth. I am making a direct challenge. And they could take this any which way they want. But to those 200,000 people who showed up in New York City, for that 100,000 people who showed up in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, for that 75,000 that showed up in my city of Chicago, and everywhere else in between for the No Kings March protest. Where in God's name are all of you right now? Show up on the streets, protest against the war. I know. You had the Walton Harris organize everything, and everything was all nice and cushy. Well, guess what? Every single one of you, all of you that participated, write a letter to your congressman or woman, send an email, send a smoke signal, send a telephone, send a telegram, tell them to be against this war. It is a social responsibility of everyone across the political spectrum here in the United States. Boomers, Gen Xers, Millennial, Gen Z. Doesn't matter the color of your skin, who you worship, or who the hell you voted for. I don't give a damn who you voted for. But this war cannot happen. And it just can't be Tucker Carlson calling this out. It's got to be every single one of us. You have a responsibility right now. All of you. Because once those nukes drop, and God forbid it gets to that point, that's it. We're never getting back to this point again of civilization. I'll say it again, as somebody who has seen the testimonial and artifacts of the Hiroshima Memorial Museum, you go into that museum, you're walking out a changed person. I don't care who you are. And if you don't walk out as a changed person, then something's wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. No war. And if this is the beginning stages of the MAGA movement falling apart, don't worry, I've been there before. So what I will say to my brothers and sisters who are MAGA and anti-war, libertarians who are anti-war, you're more than welcome to hang out here with Hard Lens Media and help us organize and speak out and share and be against this war. I am calling on everyone. I want everyone. Call the banners. Because if Trump's not going to listen, then it's time for all of us to take the lead and to force our politicians to start acting on this. Once started, there's no going back. We have a chance to prevent the United States from getting involved in this war. Let's show it.